quiz or a test. What would that be? The equation coach equals teacher equals role model. And you're saying, okay, so he's emphasized that, and he won't put it on a quiz, he just faked this, okay. So, as a coach, to be a real coach, teacher of your sport. If you're a real coach, you're a teacher of your sport. The rules, you're teaching the rules of the game, if you're a real coach. So if you're a real coach, you're teaching your sport. So you should be, if you're a real coach, teaching the rules of your game, teaching individual aspects of your game, how to make a block, how to shoot a jump shot, how to punt a ball, how to spike a volleyball, how to hit the golf ball through the windmill with a putt-putt, whatever. So you should be teaching your sport. You are also teaching by your example. Examples can be good, they can be bad examples. But regardless of whether you are coaching for your kids or you're coaching for yourself, you are a role model. Could be good, could be bad. So coach equals teacher equals role model. And that's a role model and a teacher, what you do on the field or in the gym, whatever sport you're talking about, or what you do in your community. You have coaches you may have played for some that have specific rules while you're playing. One of them might be no drinking during season, which I know everybody abides by. So the rule is, you are not allowed to drink while you're playing for me on a team. That's what the coach says. So Monday morning, the coach isn't in his or her classroom. Why? Because they're sitting in the county jail because they got a DUI, or they got into a fight at the local bar because they were loaded. That's a role model, not a good role model. That's do as I say, not do as I do, but you're still a role model. If that happens to you, you're still a role model. If the coach says our practice starts promptly at 6 a.m. and we get to lift the privilege of lifting weights at 6 a.m. and the coach shows up at 7:45, what's that teaching you? Do I really need to get up at 6 a.m. and then go to class? I get all sweaty lifting weights and I got to go to class and sit next to this good-looking guy or a good-looking girl I'm trying to go out with, and I smell like a pig farm. And the coach didn't even bother to show up. That's still a role model. So coach equals teacher equals role model. There are 3 levels, essentially, of ethical standards. This is not only for coaching, but it's in life. There's a high level. There is a low level, and there's a level where there ain't none. Since this is the English, I'm going to say some of these counties just got running water in the last couple of weeks. Years, sorry, Brian, years. So, and you know this if you think about it, in life, as well as sports, there's basically three ethical standards. A high level, a low level, and none. And you all know coaches, either that you play for, or in your school, or in the general sports population, whether it's high school, college, or pro, that don't fit in here. Bobby Knight, Indiana, he's from Orrville, Ohio, by the way. Two things, and that's where you got. How many athletes are in here who play basketball in the ORCC? Nobody? Yes. Volleyball, that's right. Orrville, that's Wayne College. Right? Way up yonder. Two things come out of Orrville. Smucker's Jelly and Bobby Knight. That's Does that have to do with it? It has nothing to do with it. Let's do that. Bobby Knight never had an NCAA violation in 30 years or more as a coach. Never. Nobody was ever suspended because of grades. He was never reprimanded. He had a high level of ethical standards. The guy named Calvin Sampson, who coached at Tulsa men's basketball, got fired and got Tulsa on probation with the NCAA because he was texting and emailing recruits during the dead period, gross violation of NCAA, put him on probation. He got fired, and then when Knight left Indiana, they hired him in Indiana, and he did the same thing in Indiana, so Indiana gets on probation, he got fired, and then you know what, Calvin Sampson, where he went? Went to the NBA. Might tell you something about the NBA, may not, I don't know. He would be a low standard, or a no, excuse me, Sampson would be a no standard. You don't have any standard. It's what coaches like that are trying to do CTW. Now, does anybody know what CTW is? You better raise your hand if you've heard it from me. CTW. Pardon me? Coach to win. No, to win is right, not coach to win. This is a negative thing. See, when we say no ethical standards, and then I use CTW, that would be, pardon me? Cheat to win. CTW for a coach is cheat to win, indicating there are no ethical standards in that coach. And if that coach is teaching his or her players CTW, then they're teaching you to cheat to win, which would mean a low standard. So at this point, I always say in the class, and if you disagree with me, fine, raise your hand, there's no problem, that if you are a real coach, concerned about being a positive teacher, role model, trying to have high ethical standards in your coaching, if you are a real coach, winning is seldom the most important thing. Say that again. Why? Because it might be a good question on the quiz, or get this down in your notes. Get this down in your notes. Good question on a final or a quiz. If you are a real coach, real being in bold print, parentheses, underlined. If you are a real coach, and it's about your players, if you're a real coach, winning is seldom the most important thing. Now that's over the course of your coaching. You're playing for the conference championship, the state championship, or whatever, that particular game, playing for a league championship, that is the most important thing. But it's how you get to that point and how you coach your players over the course of the whole season. So you don't have a high level of ethical standard. You get to the state tournament and they'll say, okay, fellas or ladies, now we're going to cheat this game. No. You shouldn't have to if you're a real coach, because you've taught the fundamentals of your sport, which gets back to being a teacher of your sport. You've taught the right way of playing. So we don't, at the bottom of a pile in football, make sure that we extend our index and middle fingers through the face mask of the opposing quarterback and make his eyes bleed so he has to go out of the game. That's cheating to win. We do not, when the opposing player has a breakaway layup, purposely throw him into the wall to hurt him or her. We may try to block the shot legally. In baseball, if you have a good hitter, if you're cheating to win, the coach is telling you, hit him in the air hole, knock him out. As opposed to, he can't hit an inside pitch, throw it inside, and if he gets hit, it's part of the game. It's not, you're not purposely trying to hurt somebody. I mean, does everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. So, you are trying to be a high level of coaching. Now, my opinion, you all raised, most of you raised your hands, you played for a coach in high school that had you practice when you weren't allowed to practice under the high school rules. I would say that's a low level. And that's pretty, you're getting close to being a CTW coach. Now, realistically, if everybody in your league is practicing when they're not allowed to, and you're not practicing, you can say, you know, preferably in a perfect world, I'm not practicing because it's against the rules. And you can have that high standard, but what happens? One coach practices, so now all the other coaches have to practice, so we're going to be behind. And what do they say? We're doing it for the kids. We don't want them to be 2 weeks behind. Are those coaches doing it for you as a player, or are they doing it for themselves? Because remember, coaches can be fired. We can get anybody, no offense, we can get anybody to be a volleyball coach at OU Langston. No offense. We can get anybody to be a bowling coach at Lakewood High School. We can get anybody, well, not anymore. We can get anybody to be a softball coach at OU Zanesville, not anymore. Okay? We can get anybody to be an 8th grade basketball coach in a junior high. It doesn't matter whether you know basketball or not. You're looking at me, coach 8th grade basketball? That's probably good for that school system. What you do is just get up and make it, and just let it float, and they do it over and over and over. It's just great. Okay, so what I want you to do now, I always have you do this on paper. You don't have to do it on paper if you don't want to. If you're going to do it, either make 3 columns on a piece of paper or get in your mind, because I'm going to ask you. Your first column or your first person I want you to think of is the best teacher you've ever had. Don't feel obligated in the last hour to put my name down, because that's a little too early. Okay. So the first one is the best teacher you ever had. Either put it on a paper or get it in your mind, whatever one you want to do. The second one would be the best coach that you've ever had. And this is keeping in mind what we've just talked about with the role model, the ethical standards, the CCW. You 4. On this one, when you're talking about what you're into with the last baseball and basketball coach at AUZ, you got a problem there, because I got a great one. That would be a low standard comment. The third column, or the third person, is the person in your life, coaching or otherwise, that you most respect, or has had the most influence on you as a person. So the best teacher you've ever had, the best coach you've ever had, and the person you most respect in your life, coaching or non-coaching. I'm going to do something when I was a student I hated, and that is to call on individual people for their answers. So let us start with Superintendent and Andre. Where are you, Andre?
Yes.
Who is your the best teacher you've ever had?
I said Miss Cousins, my math teacher last year.
Is that high school?
Yeah.
And why is Miss Cousins on your list as the best teacher?
Cause she helped extra after school with homework and problems and stuff.
Okay, so she stayed after school to help answer questions.
Yeah.
Right. Did why she's on your list. See, you respect her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, in Lancaster, let's go with Austin. Where are you, Austin?
Right here.
Yes, in the back row, not the front row, in the back row, okay. All right, Austin, go ahead. Are you at what level, are you a freshman, or where are you at in school?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore, okay. And I see that you, no, now don't take this the wrong way, but I see you have a Ohio State shirt on and a No U shirt on. Good for you, I wouldn't put a No U shirt on either. Okay, go ahead. What high school did you go to?
I went to Pickerington North.
Pickerington North.
Yeah.
Okay, I've heard of that. They have athletes every once in a while, don't they?
Every once in a while, yeah.
Every once in a while. Okay, who was the best coach that you ever had? I just threw you a curveball.
Tom Phillips, the former football coach for North.
Okay, did you play for him?
I did my freshman year, yeah.
Okay. And why is he on your list?
He had a way of getting us fired up, and he also did the right thing outside of practice, outside of the games. Never heard him, anything about him getting in trouble. There's a couple scandals going on at North that he wasn't involved with, and he was actually one of the leaders stepping up to voice out, his opinion on how that was wrong. So I just always respected him. He's just the way he carries himself.
Okay.
So.
So, I assume from what you've said, high level of ethical conduct,
Exactly.
which is why you put him on your list, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, this is gonna be suspect. Brian in Zanesville. Only because the guy sitting next to you was asleep. Is the person you most admire in your life, coaching or non-coaching?
My dad.
That's a safe answer. Just quiet.
Because
Why is that?
growing up, he's always, I just look along, he's always trying to teach me the right way to do it, like, how to do it, so. he helped me a
So,
lot.
another high level.
Yeah.
Now, no retribution, but does anybody have on their list, on any of those three topics, anybody you would consider with, no ethical standards at all? Is there anybody on your list that you would consider having low ethical standards? So everybody on your list has a high ethical standard. Now, does that prove anything to you? That people, coaches or teachers or whoever are attracted, just like you are, to people who are high ethical standards in life. Should be the same as a coach. And as much as humanly possible, when you become coaches, you should gravitate toward the highest level of standards you can. Because just like the people on your list who are role models for you, regardless of whether they were teachers, coaches, or person in your life, that's why you're attracted to them. I don't hear anybody saying, Jeffrey Epstein's on my list. Anybody even know who that is? No? Anybody know who Jeffrey Epstein is? He's been in the news a lot the last 2 weeks.
Limited?
Well, where are you at?
That New Pickerington.
Sorry again, I'm sorry, I was talking.
The guy, the Limited Brands, that guy? The Limited Brands. Like, did he own, he was somehow connected with, through Limited, like Express and all them.
No, he is the guy that supposedly just hung himself, who was a pedophile and was getting, supposedly Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew to fly to his private, island somewhere and was getting underage girls and forcing them to have sex with him. It's been in the news, we don't, it's in the news. So on my phone, I don't. There's a thing that's been around for a while, folks, it's called a television. I know it's a little old fashioned, but usually around 5:30 or 6 o'clock, if you turn that on to channel 10 or 6 or 4 in Columbus, they will have what's called news. If you got an antenna, you're so good. There's also something, I know this is probably foreign, called a newspaper. Not as many as there used to be. And if you're from Front Valley down here, or Philo or Maysville or Rosecrans, you may not be able to read, but you need to keep up on your news. Okay, that was a strength 3 look. How about, I don't know, yeah, okay. All right, so you guys are gravitated toward, naturally, people with high ethical standards. Okay, now, in that regard, there are 2 theories or 2 concepts. One is sportsmanship. Going on this chapter of ethics, sportsmanship. I will guarantee you that on some future quiz or final, you will be asked the following question. As given in class, define sportsmanship. The only correct answer is 3 words. Following the rules. Following the rules. If you put anything else on there, then I have to worry about grading, act like I'm an instructor. It's awful tough for an old guy to have to use his mind sometimes, don't say that. So sportsmanship, you all know what sportsmanship is. Sportsmanship is following the rules. That's what we've been talking. Sportsmanship, is not knocking somebody into the wall on a breakaway layup. Sportsmanship is not putting your fingers through the opposing player's face mask. Sportsmanship is not telling the player that's playing in front of you on the depth chart, "Oh, we don't have practice today," and then when you really do have practice. So sportsmanship is following the rules, which goes back to a high level of ethical standards, which goes against the CTW, which is, as we know, is cheat to win. Now, conversely, for those who have been in the Zanesville campus, that means the opposite of. Sportsmanship is gamesmanship. I will guarantee you that on a future quiz or final, you will be asked the following question. As given in class, is given in class, as given in class, you've already said that 3 times, define gamesmanship. So let me read out of the book, which you don't have to get. We've already been through that. The proper, for this class, the proper definition of gamesmanship is doing something simply to upset or psych out an opponent in order to win. Doing something simply to upset or psych out an opponent in order to win. Now, can anybody give me one example of gamesmanship following this definition I just gave you? Well, it's a long time till next Wednesday. We'll be in class a long time.
icing a field goal kicker.
Okay, icing a field goal kicker would be one example. What goes on between teams during a game?
Chatter.
Trash talk. What did you say, chatter? Yeah. Trash talk. You're trash talking your opponent, which may not mean you have no ethical standards. It might be somewhere between 2 or 3. But what are you trash talking somebody for? Do you want what? Which would get in their head, which means to psych out. I always find it humorous on the once or twice a year that I watch an NBA game, when some guy that's 6'10" or 7 foot dunks the ball and stands there and wants to face off some guy that's about 5'8" that he dunked over. If you're 7 foot, you ought to be able to do it anyway, shouldn't you? But they're psyching, so the player's being guarded by somebody, he gets the ball and he slams over somebody and he yells at the guy or stares the guy down. That's a nonverbal trash talk, trying to intimidate. Ryan here in Zanesville is a pitcher. Most cases. Some cases a thrower. How does a pitcher psych out an opponent?
I think the best way is to keep a calm demeanor,
Yeah, that'll do it.
but throwing inside, I guess.
How about throwing inside me? How about striking somebody out? Hey, you can't hit me. Here, I'm gonna throw a fastball right down the middle. I told you you couldn't hit me. Okay. So it's doing something that's designed to upset or psych out an opponent in order to win. Depending on the extent that the gamesmanship goes to, it can be any one of these 3. Usually it's going to be in the low to none, depending on to what extent it is. Ty Cobb, who I'm sure no one's ever heard of, was a long-time baseball player, used to purposely slide into people when he played and spike them to intimidate. And sometimes if he would come around in the third or he'd come around home, he would drop kick the catcher. Because they didn't have this no contact rule anymore in baseball. Like the catcher, you ran the catcher over, that's baseball. So he would, if you ever see pictures of him, he essentially drop kicks the catcher, putting his cleats in his chest protector to try to psych him out. Which it normally did, as you can understand. Are there any questions? This thing came up, so you got 5 minutes. Does that mean we're done? Oh, automatically shut off. Good. That's good for you. Any questions from anybody on what we went over today?